Jeez.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Breaking Ice podcast. My name is Josh Ferguson. Today I'm sitting here with Sylvia Clement. I have the absolute pleasure of being here today. And we're here to talk about a bunch of stuff and learn about her and who she is and what she does. And my wife, Leanna, knows you so much better than I do. So this is my opportunity.
Might as well.
Might as well. Okay, well, let's start at the beginning. Where'd you grow up?
In Toledo. I originally grew up in Toledo, but I would always be out on the land in Willow Lake. It's called Gullo, with my grandparents. I grew up with my grandparents.
Okay.
Yeah, and which was really cool.
May I ask the different, why your grandparents versus your parents?
I don't know my dad, but my mom. I was with my mom. There's 5 of us, and my mom just had a different life at the time, and just couldn't raise me, so my grandma took me. And then 5
siblings.
Yes.
That is, I can't even imagine. I only have one, and he's a pukey little brother.
Yeah, there was 5 of us. 3 of us were given away as an adoption, and 2 are with my mom. But yeah, totally different, and I really appreciated growing up out there. I didn't like it at the time.
Toledo?
Growing up, being out on the land and stuff like that, always having to go because I want to be with my friends and play.
Yeah.
Which was really being cranky.
I have to go on the land.
But to think about it now, I am so grateful that I did.
Yes.
So grateful because I have a totally different life than what I thought I would have had than being in the community because my grandparents were always out on the land. So I got to learn the experience of how to live off the land and take those with me. And the teachings that I got from all the elders out in Willow Lake, Gullo. And now that I know those teachings and stuff like that, I can pass them on to my daughter and the students that I'm working with right now.
So how old were your grandparents when you were growing up? I kind of want to get a sense from what generation they were from. So when were they born? I'm not sure if you know that.
No. I'm don't ask me that. Yeah, they were pretty old. My grandma's 86 right now.
86
so,
right now.
Yeah. And
okay.
I'm 42. So.
Okay. So she was in her 40s raising you.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. I guess I'm curious about the kinds of skills that you were learning out there, and what did growing up on the land kind of give you for your life?
To be able to go out and be able to just be on a snowmobile, be on a boat and stuff like that. I hated camp work. I don't mean to say it that way because I would have to do dishes. But if I got up early enough, I can go out with my dad. My grandparents. I don't know my dad, so I called my grandpa my dad.
Gotcha.
So
just for this conversation.
Yeah.
And
that's what it is. I just tell them that. And I always tell people, I'm not even going to go there.
So what was your grandmother like? What was her character?
Was her and my grandpa, my dad were amazing people. My dad worked very hard. They were hard workers, hard workers, always lived off the land and stuff like that and took care of me and my 2 cousins, but we're brothers and sisters kind of thing that we grew up together. And those are my auntie's kids and I'm my mom's. So she took 3 of us and it was always 3 of us out there with them. And we would be able to do beaver trapping and muskrat trapping and shooting a moose. I seen my grandma shot a caribou. It was so cool. It was the coolest thing ever. She would we were out at a fishing camp.
Yeah.
And we seen
on the Bear River.
It was up towards Willow Lake.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to go on there and then you go up towards Willow Lake. And we seen something. We're like, "Hey, Grandma, there's something out there." And she looked and she was like, "Oh man, be quiet." So she got a gun and just got down because my dad was across the lake getting wood. So there was just 3 of us and her. She got down on one knee and just shot this caribou right off, just dead, right? One shot.
Wow, just dropped it?
Yep, just dropped it. And I was like, holy shit.
Had you seen game be shot before like that?
Oh, we have, but not by a woman.
Okay.
So it was our grandma's the coolest. And she's like, you better not tell anybody. So it was really cool to see stuff like that. And like just learning how to like do like everyday life skills, how to like set snares, how to get fish, and just like it's just how do you say it? A privilege.
Skills? Yeah, okay. Yeah,
it's a privilege to know those things, where nowadays it's harder to get our kids out. My girl won't go out on the land like that to do those, and I can teach her some of those things that I know. Not like I remember all step by step, but like I said, there's things that I can survive out.
And what kind of lessons in terms of character and personality and whatnot did you pick up from living, like spending time on the land like that?
Respecting the land, being able to like know that what's out there is what you give back. So like when you take something and you share with your community, like in Willow Lake, everybody shared their moose when they got them, or shared fish when they got them, and just like back and forth, whatever. And people just being with each other, learning to respect one another as things would happen, and working as a team and a group when things happen, like a skidoo went in the water or something, you work together to get that out, and to make sure everybody watches everybody's kids at the time, like, and they're just like, everybody's doing good. Everybody worked together. That's for me.
1 second. I just want to make sure.
I'm like, what?
Perfect.
I feel weird, Josh.
You're doing great. You're really, really.
I'm like,
Is it like, what are you feeling weird about?
No, just talking about stuff that I forgot about.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's the coolest thing you can do.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I love about doing this is kind of capturing these stories, because they're valuable.
Dying.
They're dying, and they're valuable, and especially like from the people who experience them. And soon enough, it'll be 1 or 2 generations where, those stories are still around, but like, oh yeah, like my grandma or my mom or whatever, and the kids won't have the same kinds of experiences. So I don't know. It feels like a unique opportunity. Well, do you have a time, a summer? Well, actually, tell me about like the how the year went. Like, did you spend? Because when I was talking to, wow, totally forgetting his name.
It's okay.
When I was talking to another guest, he was telling me about how much time they spent on the land, and I assumed it was in the summer, and he was like, no, we spent all winter out trapping. So I'm just kind of curious about the flow of your year when you were growing up.
So it would be like, as winter comes, so you'd go out for the winter and hang out, and then you'd come back for Christmas, and then for fish season, when it starts to thaw out and stuff like that, and you go out for geese hunt, we'd go out for geese hunt, and then we'll go back to town, then we'll come out for fish season. Okay. So it was like periods of time in each season.
And most families spent most of the winter outside of the community?
Used to.
Yeah.
They're different now.
Totally.
Yeah, not as much as they used to. Because I know a lot, like in Willow Lake, people, like we would go out randomly in the winter and stuff like that to be out there, especially if we got in trouble. If we got in trouble, we knew we had to pack and go to the bush. And like, no, that's not what they're raising. You know what I mean?
Like if you got in trouble, you knew that you would be sent out to the bush?
Yep.
Okay.
And we would be out there, and it was like, oh my God. But it taught me well, like, don't get in trouble then, or just don't get caught. But for me, when we used to go out, it would be mostly around springtime that we would spend most of the time out there. So winter times were just like random little trips and stuff like that. So a couple weeks or whatever. But springtime was the most time that we spent majority of out in the bush.
I assume because the travel was pretty easy with the snow and the ice, and the temperatures were bearable.
Yep. So it was good.
And then summer rolled around and it was like, it's hard to get around in the same way.
And you have to go up at a certain time just because of the water levels and stuff like that I remember. But, or we go out and then they would do fish season as well. So,
and just for my own kind of like location, I know where Kelly Lake is and I know where the Great Bear River is. Is that kind of river system that goes up towards Kelly Lake? Is that where Willow Lake is?
Yeah. So you go from Normal to Toledo up the Bear River, and then you'll go up a creek.
And you hang a left,
and then that's Willow Lake, and then you'll hit Kelly Lake.
I see.
Yeah, and then Lenny Lake.
And was Kelly Lake traveled to often then?
Yep.
Yeah.
We used to go there all the time in the summer and do like family picnics or like go and spend the weekend out there and stuff like that.
And that's all by boat?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Well, what do you have a time of being in the bush that really stands out in your mind the most? Like maybe like an adventure or something like that was particularly surprising. Like you mentioned
with my grandma, that's the best time ever that I can think about. I've had really good times out there. I really enjoyed them, especially when all the community members would come out to their cabins and everybody could just, and then you had friends to play with and just hear laughter and talk and people telling stories and stuff like that.
And I don't think I fully comprehend how many people would go out at once. Like, would there be like, hundreds of people out at once, or would there be like tens of people?
Like, I would say like a little community of Cova Lake.
Oh, okay. So like hundreds.
That was just like not hundreds, but like there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cabins, and then like a full house of everybody.
Okay, that's actually a lot of people.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's really cool. That's super cool. And then when did kind of your time growing up in the bush come to an end? Like, was there like a natural life stage where you went to school or something like that?
Yeah, when we like about, I want to say 17 sort of thing like that, where it was just kind of like dying down because I was doing school. I went to school, whatever, back and forth. So like whenever we did. And then I got a summer job to do camp work. And
camp work where?
Like out in the bush and stuff like that, like working at like a rig camp.
Okay.
And when I got a taste of money, I was like, I'm not going to school anymore. I'm just going to work. And my grandparents were like, well, if you're not going to school, you're working, then you're going to do it.
Totally.
So then I just kind of dropped out and went to work and just made money. And
was that like grade? That
was like 10, 11 kind of thing that I just kind of like, nah, I'm going to work. I'm just going to make money.
And was the camp work like cooking or like what
no, I was like, I don't like cooking. I like eating. I was like the housekeeping and stuff like that. Okay. So but I got paid good money at a certain age like that. Of course, I'm not going to want to do. And I just thought it was like the best thing ever. So, which was okay. Well, at the time, I'm just like,
well, yeah.
Yeah, nobody was really, I had really good mentors growing up and stuff like that. I had like Sister Celeste, Colette Labine, like.
Tell me about them.
They're amazing. Sister Celeste is amazing, like a mom. Like she is like the coolest person ever. I love that woman. And she was always there. She's always there for the whole community. She's been there ever since I can remember, my whole life. You can even ask Bobby Lenny, like she's been there for everybody. It's like doors open and stuff like that. But
just like you could kind of walk in and talk to her whenever you needed.
No, I just go there and sleep there. And just, there was days where like, it's like survival mode for me growing up. Like, I'm not saying like I really enjoyed my family and stuff like that, but there was times where they weren't so fun. And I had to be in survival mode most of my lifetime. And that's what it was. And like having the cycle of what was going on in our culture and stuff like that, passed down generation to generations, and cycles needed to be broken. I was in survival mode the whole time, trying to like, I didn't know. And then when I went to work, I was like, same thing. Got a taste of money, not really, I had really good, like Eddie Jr. He was really good as well. Like always took care of us, him and his wife. Yuggle and Stella always took care of us. Like I had a lot of people that watched out. Even though I didn't think people were there, they were there. And now that I'm older and that I think about things, it's like I did have a good army of people to help me on this road that I'm on. And it's been a lifetime, but being stubborn at 18 years old, thinking I know everything. And I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm making money, whatever. I don't need school. Yeah, no, it wasn't cool. I was so mad at myself being and then I had my daughter at 24. What am I going to do with this baby? Like, oh my God, like, seriously.
Yeah. What was that? What was that kind of transition?
Oh, she changed my whole life,
Yeah.
that kid. Like, seriously, like, I thought, like, okay, I can't give her the same life that I was growing up in. Like, I love where you know what I mean? But in survival mode, I don't want this child to be in survival mode. I want her to enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to be a mom. I don't know. And being with her dad and stuff like that, you know, I'm grateful for my daughter. It wasn't a very good, healthy relationship with her father. And then, so that was like, I'm going back to school. There's no way that I'm going to be working 2 weeks at a camp and leaving this child. Like I have detachment disorder.
Okay.
You know, through my mom.
Yeah.
And just whatever that is like. I didn't want that for her.
Yeah.
So I don't want to leave her for 2 weeks at a time. I picked myself back up and went back to school.
That's fucking badass.
It was awesome. And it was funny because somebody told me, they're like, why are you going back to school? You can make this money, blah, blah.
Did you go back to finish high school or did you go into post-secondary education?
I went into the college.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a different story.
Yeah.
It was an adventure. Yeah. And then somebody told me, well, why are you going back to school? You're just going to be back here doing the same thing anyways.
Watch me.
Oh, that made me, OMG. There is no way I'm coming back here to do this. And I was like, as hard as it was, I did it. Toledo didn't work out very so well. So I called Dudley here and I explained to him like, hey, like I'm trying. He's like, if you can move here, come here. I will help you. Packed my house in 2 days, left everything, packed whatever, came here and started a new life.
Whoa. And
I was not doing that to my kid.
Yeah. And
lucky that I had Angie and Bobby, because Angie had a home care, day home, and had taken my daughter in.
Okay.
And her and Morgan, Rihanna's an August baby, Morgan's an October baby. So they're like sisters.
Yeah.
From different parents, exactly like sisters. And I'm so grateful for Morgan because Rihanna has a sister. Because I only have one child, but Morgan's ours too. I love Morgan. And I'm so grateful to Angie and Bobby because Angie took her in. So while I can go to school. Mm-hmm. So that
So were you doing classes at Aurora College? Or,
yeah.
And was that online? I don't exactly know how that works.
No, it was just, I was doing basic courses here and there throughout the college with Dudley.
And what were you studying?
Just English, math, just the basics to get me to go and do upgrading.
I see.
So just get me back on my feet because I've been out of school since I was 18, making money.
6 years, making that dough.
Yep. Yeah. It's not worth it. It was not worth it. I should have stayed in school. I should have. But anyways, I did it.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Yep. And then, so I came here. I went to school, did what I could. I went to Fort Smith. I did upgrading. And then I did office admin because they didn't offer the BEd program. Okay. I already knew I wanted to be a teacher. I just didn't want to do the work. I'm not lying. That's true. I knew I wanted to be a teacher ever since I was with Sister Celeste. That was my inspiration. Her and Colette Labine were one of the best teachers I've had in my life.
Were they teachers of yours or just mentors?
Yep. Nope. She was a teacher. Sister Celeste owned the daycare.
Okay.
Or the preschool in Toledo. Colette was my grade 3 teacher.
Okay.
And I always was like, I want to be teachers like them.
What was it about teaching that inspired you?
Just the comfort and the love that you give to kids. Mm. And sometimes you just needed a hug.
Especially kids who, like you're talking about being in survival mode.
Yep. That's exactly why I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Because I was one of those kids that had to be like, I wanted a hug every now and then.
And then you had to rudely grow up at 24.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But yeah, that changed my whole life to be a teacher and to have different things. And going to school in Fort Smith, I still was didn't know what I was doing, but I did my best of what I could. I still made mistakes as a mom. I still made mistakes as
Who
a
doesn't?
student. And, you know, and being a single mom out there and trying to do 16-page papers and trying to take care of my daughter as well. And, you know, I've had help here and there and stuff like that. And I'm really grateful.
Totally.
And, but to actually, you know, do that. And I wanted to give up so many times. I don't want to do this. I want to quit. One time I was like,
Why didn't you?
I have this little girl. I want her to know that I want her to have a good home and be able to do these things and not have to worry. And I want her to finish school and be able to have those things without wanting them.
So was having a daughter at 24 best thing that ever happened to you?
Oh, yes. I would have been somewhere else with 10 kids. But yes, she had changed my whole world. And without that little girl.
What was she like as a kid?
She was amazing. She was stubborn-headed like her mom and still is.
I love how kids reflect your own qualities. You're like, damn it, that's because of me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, and I always tell her, you speak the truth. Like, you speak what's on your mind. Like, because I was always told, be quiet, don't say that. Like, shh, you know. But my grandma and, you know, my dad were like, my grandma was always say, like, you respect people the way they respect you. And I was like, well, this person, she's like, nope, even with elders, you respect the elder if they respect you. And I was like, oh, damn, grandma, like, where you come from? But like, she didn't like, no, she loved and did the best she could for us. But I think she babied the boys way too much, which is okay because I'm so grateful for her where I am. But I was like, at the same time, I was like,
why did she baby the boys too much?
Because boys are privileged at that.
Okay.
In our culture sort of thing, like, you know, girls and stuff like that work hard. And I'm grateful because I look at the way we were both raised. It's like we were in the same home, but I had to be home at a curfew time. If I was 5 minutes late, I was 2 days grounded. Like, I didn't have the same...
Into the bush.
Yeah. And same rules with the boys. They didn't have any.
Okay.
So now when I look at our lives now, I'm like, I'm a teacher. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm not, you know, and I'm grateful. But you have a choice. You have a choice. And I was like, I chose to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And I'm not sure about the other two, but they are where they are.
So tell me about finally becoming a teacher. What was that like? What, like that experience of kind of like actualizing that?
It didn't sink in. I'm just like, it was like, did I really do this? Like, because when I looked at the transcripts, it was like 2 ticks off, 5 courses down. So there's like 24 courses you have to go through. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to get through this. And at the end of that, there was like 1 course done. I was like, I was like, oh my God. And it really hit me. I was like, and I started crying. I was like, I really did all these courses and I just got 1 left and I'm done. Like, what is happening? And then going through the graduation, I was like, I don't want to do this. Can I just get my paper and go home? Like, I don't
want to be recognized.
No, I don't like, center of attention is hard for me.
Yeah.
I can't, like, I'd rather be way back there and just go, girl, go, you know, cheer people on, where I'm just like, yeah, like, I'm good. I love you guys. Keep going, man, you know? But it was like to do the graduation. I'm like, oh my, like, I did it. Yeah. Like, oh my God, I did it. And then just the other day we're talking and then they're like, oh, you did 6 years in your job. And Brianna looked at me. She's like, 6, right on, Mom. Like, you did it. I was like, we did it. It's not me. It's we did it together. Like, without her, I wouldn't be where I am today.
What do you think her kind of witnessing that transformation in you taught her?
For me, what I think is, as her growing up, she had to be in survival mode as well. Not as much as I used to be, like I had to be, but she had to be in survival mode as well as time. And then having to deal with all these different things. Like, she is proud of me, very proud of me. And like, what I think is like not giving up on something, but taking a rest. Sit down if you're having a bad day, you know, rest for a bit, get up and start again. So that's where she sees me and like, or like having bad days. And she's like, hey, just like, and sometimes she's like, proud of you sometimes. And I'm like, why? She's like, you work hard. Like, thank you. So sometimes it's hard for me to recognize those things. And I'm just like, oh, I do it because I need to. I do it because I enjoy it.
We'll stick with that.
Yes, but it's true.
And when did you start? How long ago did you graduate?
2019.
Okay. Nice.
So
that's so cool. And then tell me about being a teacher. Was it like you expected?
What they teach you out there is not really what you get in there. So,
but even like how you imagined it when you were younger.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I love it. At first, it was like kind of like I don't know what I'm doing, blah blah blah, and trying to figure it out. And then as time goes, and having good coworkers and people that you can bounce off of, and like I love my team. My team's amazing. I can go to anybody and be like, hey, like, I need your help. Or like, we go back and forth and help each other and stuff like that. And it is awesome. And I need that because I'm a visual learner. And with paper, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, teach me, tell me what to do. And they'll explain to me. I'm like, okay, I get it. But it's like, if I read it, I'm like, okay, but I need to be seeing that. And then that's where I see with a lot of kids in our classrooms. Some of them are like, and I'm like, okay, you're like me. I'll do it the other way. You know? So for me, I love my job. I need it to be back at work. I need work.
It grounds you.
It does.
Yeah.
It makes me a better human, I think.
Do you think ever since you started college and like that process is what formed that relationship with needing work?
With what? Say
like
that.
when you went, like when you had your daughter and then you were like, oh shit, I need to get serious.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like got into that mode of like depending on work to keep you motivated. Do you think that's where that came from? It seems like I answered my own question.
Yeah. For me, I feel that I've been a worker since I can pick up a broom or anything.
Yeah.
So I've always had to have that, or then I get bored, then I get in trouble. So I had to like, for me, like just being at home, because I'd take a year off of work and just doing that. It was like, I can't do this. Like, I need to be at work. I need people. I need my kids at school to be able to get going and bring my spirit back up. And that's where a lot of it comes from, where I'm a workaholic. I need it. Just say it like that.
And I'm proud of it.
Yes, I'm a workaholic. I need it. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, what do the students teach you? What do the students teach you?
Patience.
Obviously.
Patience, and to be able to like, I learned everybody's different learners. Everybody. And just the joy of seeing them get that spark of something and just like, oh my God, this is so worth it.
I understand.
They got it. I'm like, and it makes me happy. Somebody might not get it that day. They might get it in 2 days, yet they still got it. Oh yes, I did my job. Give yourself a pat on the back. Yay. I always tell my kids that. I'd even do it. And so
what's your daughter up to now?
She is doing some upgrading at the college here.
Okay.
Yep. So.
And how's that? And it feels like she's kind of in similar footsteps.
Yeah, it's been a really tough year for us. So she was going to school in high level, and then I just brought her home, and just the balance of trying to do. And so we just kind of shut down a year of just getting to know each other again and trying to get back on her feet.
How long had she been in high level?
She was there she started off for about 4 months maybe, and I brought her home just before Christmas, sent her back, and then she came back just after Christmas. Okay. And then it was just like, no, survival mode after that again.
And what was empty nesting like? Was that weird?
No, it was hard for me at first, but then I was like, okay, no, that'd be better for her because they have more opportunities and the more help that she needed to do her stuff. And she wasn't comfortable here with just back passes of different things.
And what does she have goals of what she wants to study?
She wants to go into, I'll let her answer that for herself because I'm not going to give up her thing.
Just caught myself right.
Yeah, I was like, nope, I can't answer for her because I don't want to jinx her goals.
Tell me about a memory you have with your daughter growing up that is outside of studying and kind of just day-to-day life.
Day-to-day life. It was awesome. She had a big imagination. She played. She did her thing. One time we were going and she was going to a dance and she was like so proud, just like 8 years old and getting all ready. And I was like, oh my God, she can't go to a dance. Like, what is no way? Because I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, what would Rihanna and Morgan say?
Go for it.
An uptight mom, like too like, oh my God, you can't do that. No, it's after blah, blah, blah. Like, right on it. But when she was going to that dance and I'm walking her to the dance and she's like, you cannot come in and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, where's my baby? Like, what happened? And just seeing the different growth in her is what makes me like, oh my God, okay, we're doing this. And seeing her go to that dance, it was the first time I've ever like let her go on her own to do something like that. So I'm waiting, like, what am I going to do with myself and stuff like that.
Have some time.
Yeah. And it was like, I could have done homework, but I was like, what if somebody be mean to her? Or like, my mind just goes too fast over and just, I got to back off a bit. But sometimes I hover too much.
Yeah. Did she meet your grandparents?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She met, my grandma's still alive.
Oh, okay.
And my dad had passed on, God rest his soul. But yeah, she has met them. She was about 1 year old when my dad passed away. So like, just
she never has memories of him.
No, just, pictures and stuff she has of him. But yeah, she met my grandma.
And your grandma's still alive. We got to get her on the podcast.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
That would be so cool.
Yeah. Oh my God. She would probably just laugh at you and tell you to...
Go study.
Yes, exactly. In her language.
I want to talk to her about shooting that caribou. That would be awesome.
She'll probably be mad I told the story.
She probably won't find the podcast.
Yeah.
She's probably safe.
Oh, I will send it to her. I'll be like, Grandma, look at this. Yeah. So a lot of this is why I'd like to do it, is just so that my daughter can see. Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about the diagnosis?
Yeah.
When did... How, I don't know anything about it. So like, what were you feeling anything before you went and figured it out?
There was bruises on my back that was coming out. And a friend of mine was saying, hey, there's a bruise on your back. And I was like, I don't know. Didn't fall down, whatever. Just, I don't know. And
survival mode.
Yeah. And then after that, it was like, we went on summer holidays, came back. And it was my daughter's birthday. 2 days after that, I ended up in the hospital.
Oh, shit.
So it was a very fast one. And so got sent to Yellowknife and then went through this thing. They couldn't figure it out. There was an infection somewhere. And so then they came and said, hey, like, look here, 1:30 in the morning. They're like, yeah, it looks like you might, but we're not 100% sure. You need to call your family. I was like, by myself. I was like, what the hell do I was like, I'm not going to call my family until you're 100% sure.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do I, like, I didn't know. I don't know what to do. And then my friend Christine Gaudette came that morning because I needed a few things because I didn't bring all my stuff. And
were you medevaced?
No, they couldn't because we were shortage of medevacs. Okay. So I ended up staying in the hospital here for 2 days, and which they took really good care of me. And I was in Yellowknife and just didn't know what to do. Like, okay, let's pick your shit up. And so then they gave me antibiotics, stayed in the hospital for a bit, and then they let me out. They said, we'll give you 4 weeks and we'll let you know if it's 100% sure. So
what were those 4 weeks like? Were they a long 4 weeks?
Oh, I drank. I didn't know what to do. And like I said, I just fucking, I had my days where I was like, okay. And September 12th is the day I got the phone call saying I was 100%. So they sent me out the next day, and they're like, okay, because when they first found out, it was nothing. It was just a tad. 4 weeks later, it grew so big, and then they waited so long because I found out August, September, October, November. They finally sent me out to do treatment. It was too late. It already went into my liver.
Fuck.
Then they said there was nothing they can do for me. I had 1 to 3 years. And I was like, what the hell? Are you fucking kidding me? It went from nothing to that.
Yeah.
So
that's like scary fast.
It was.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Because when I found out September 12th is the day that I just stopped everything. Because I didn't know what to do.
Sorry, on September 12th, you found out that it had gotten way worse?
Nope, that I had cancer.
To begin with, yeah.
Yep. And then when they sent me out the next day, that's when they seen that it went bigger. Because it was nothing to, like, a little piece to that.
So tell me about kind of like your mindset and at least maybe your mental health or your emotions when you found out you had cancer, from that drastic period to being like, oh no, 1 to 3 years. Like what was that roller coaster like?
Leaving my kid. It was hard. It was really, really hard. But I was like, okay, how do I do this? What do I do? And if it wasn't for my cousin Amelia, that woman is amazing. Like, her and I, like, she's my cousin, but she's like my sister.
Yeah.
And she helped me through the whole step by step, like, what do, like, you know. And then the girls that I had on my back, they all know who they are. They're from, you know, all over the Satu.
Yeah.
Everybody came together. And then having the whole crew come together, like all the people that, you know, I didn't think, crew that came to my house for meetings. It was a big shock for everybody. And for me to actually do that, because I had a meeting at my house with a bunch of friends, close friends of mine, and everybody pulled through to help me.
Wow.
And came to my house to cook for me, and I had to do treatments. Like, I didn't know anything. And having to go and get an ostomy bag on the first day, it blew off. It was awful.
It's a lot to learn.
It was a lot to take in for the first 4 months of doing treatment and stuff like that. Because when I found out, and then I did my treatment in November.
Well, wasn't it unclear that you could be helped?
Yep. So they just...
So when did that switch for you where you were like, nuh-uh, we're going to fight this?
When I started to go and reach out to the elders. Because I called Delaney, well, my mom did, and I asked a couple elders from Delaney to do a prayer for me and asked the community. And then I went home.
Were you present for the prayer?
No.
Okay.
And so when I went home to Toledo, a lot of the elders came to me and started telling me what to do. So I was like, well, how? And they're like, just, you know, and then having odd things happen that were really weird. And it actually is true. I believe in the spirit world.
What odd things?
Just things you can hear, like,
if you feel comfortable, can you dive into them?
It was like, you could, like, elders from Willow Lake, like elders that passed on.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, I can hear them. And it was weird. It was like, no, do this, get up, do this. And I'm like, I don't want to. And I'd fight myself. I don't want to. I was like, fucking, I'm done. This medicine's going to take me out. I couldn't barely walk. It was really bad. And then when those started happening, I would actually start getting up. And I thought about Rihanna. I can't leave her like this. I got to make sure she's set up. So then started asking more for prayers. So I asked the community here before I went on my treatment to do a feeding of the fire. And just that. And then having the people that came around, I was like, oh my God, like, even though I don't think people are there, they're actually there.
Yeah. And
what really hurts, because it's like, I know I'm not alone, but it's hard for me to be like, hey, I need help here. But if I really do, I would. I've asked a couple of people to help me with traditional medicine because I couldn't get out on the land. They were more than welcome to help me, which was awesome. And I'm like so grateful for that. And a lot of people had told me what to take, what to do, how to do it. And it's like a learning process of, and the first 4 months was the hardest. Like, I honestly hated life. I hated everybody. I hated, just that deep dark. And they are right. You do go in a deep dark area.
No
and
kidding.
And I didn't think I could get back up. And then just having people come over, drop off a few things. I had Nikki bring me a calendar with some food and a card. I was like, and then opening the card, it was like a beautiful little pop-up card. I was like, those little things. And then Kara Peachy and Janelle.
I feel like I can't go. There's pop-up cards.
Yes, I can. And then Janelle and Kara brought me like these like 10, 15 cards or whatever. And I still have some in my backpack. So on hard days, I will go and open one.
You carry them with you?
Yeah, I just opened one. They're not all opened.
Oh.
Yes. So when I have a bad day.
I couldn't possibly resist not opening them all.
I just wait because I was like, no, there's going to be a day where I'm by myself and I need to cry. I'm going to open a card and it's just a lovely message inside them.
That's so cool.
And like just those things of having everybody, and then Mackenzie Mountain School and their team, our team and stuff like that. Everybody's been pulling in and just having the support of each other. And for me, it was really like I said, I'm not alone. When I thought I was. And even though I don't see them all around and I don't talk to everybody every day, I know they're still there. And I really hope that they're still praying and thinking about me, because what I found out was my first round of medicine wasn't working. Then I just found out another one that they're not working. And then I had an episode in Edmonton, which was really stupid. One of the Dr. Smiley had signed off and gave me 130 ounces of chemo when it's supposed to be 48. Twice. So I got 6 rounds in 1 month.
Jesus.
It was really bad. It was brutal. And they made a mistake. And now they're telling me that round wasn't working. So they're trying another trial run. So I'm on pills now. So there's basically nothing they can do for me, but just live your life now. So that's all. I'm just in survival mode. And then somebody once told me, said, you make cancer look so easy. I was like, you mother. I was like, are you serious? I was like, you have no clue what goes behind my door. Like, and Rihanna, like, I'm grateful because when we went out for the summer, because I was like, I need to go back to work. I can't do this. So
you didn't work last year, did you?
I took a year off.
Yeah.
Because I was like in treatment and I didn't know what treatment was going to be like. I didn't know, and it was hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, it was very hard. But like I said, having people around, and like, even though like, hey, quick text message of like, and especially like Marty and Bea would come to my house and bring Charlotte. Charlotte would sit at the table while Marty Ann's cooking me dinner because I'm by myself. My mom had to go on medical with my daughter. Christine came and spent the night with me because I'm on chemo to make sure like everybody pulled together. Laurel came, spent the night with me. Just like people put themselves out just to come and do that for me. And I'm like, you don't have to. They're like, no, they want to do it to help. And
clearly you've had an impact on people. Previous to
I love cancer. People. I love people. I'm crazy, but I love them.
Well, yeah. That's crazy. I don't really know how to relate. It seems like you have a common theme in your life, at least from what I've learned today, of 2 things. 1, survival mode.
Yep.
and then 2 is feeling alone, but actually you have a massive support network.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. It's like, okay, like, and like going out, like, I'm done telling the story. Like, I just want to enjoy people now. Because I don't want to like think about it sometimes. And it's like, but it's in my head every day. And I'm like, nope. But then when I found out I can go back to work, because we went to Edmonton and my daughter had a really hard time last year. But when we went on the summer holidays and we were in Edmonton, I was doing a course for my linguistics for the new position I have. Mm-hmm. And then we went off to Cambridge, Ontario to visit families down there. Mm-hmm. And just through those times of 4 weeks we were gone, she had grown up so much.
Your daughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, like I really have to be okay, like, you know, trying to figure out, and she's like, you got to let me do this on my own. I'm like, okay, like, you know, like, geez. But I'm like, no, because I need to make sure that she is set up.
How old is she?
She's 18.
She's 18.
Yeah, but she's still my baby.
Well,
Yes.
I can't imagine. I remember growing up and my mom being like, "You'll always be my baby," and I'm like, oh, "Mom."
No.
But then when you have a kid, you're like, "Yeah."
It's true, and like, and it brought me and my mom so much closer, like so much closer, and it's just me and my family's so much. Family's so important. Where before I'd be like,
Well, I guess so. My next question is, what has been the good byproduct of your diagnosis? I know that's a kind of a...
No, actually it's not, because for me, I know cancer sucks. It does, and I accept it. Totally. I have it. It's part of my life now, and it is what it is. But for me, I've never been happier.
Oh.
I've never been...
Okay, well, when you walked in today, I hadn't seen you in a long time. I've only like texted with you, talked on the phone, and you were sick like 2 days ago, and you sounded really rough.
I was. I had a bad head cold.
But the point being, as far as I understand, it doesn't sound like treatment's working very well.
No.
And when you walked in today, I assumed that it was totally working because you look radiant.
It's the elders, people, and the traditional medicine that I believe is working for me.
Well, Leanna told me that you're drinking spruce juice.
I drink 4 different kinds of medicine from the land.
My God. I don't know anything about this stuff. And she came home from the cultural day with, you know, some spruce juice. And she's like, oh, I have a sore throat. And she's like, I'm going to drink a cup of it. And then I heard her in the kitchen and I was like, whoa, what is this? And I went in and she's like, it tastes like you're inside a tree.
Yeah, and Kathy Pope made that for us. It was so cool. It's funny, but yeah, like
it does. It tastes like you're inside a tree.
Some of them are very strong. I had I needed a bark from a tree and stuff, and it's one of the medicines that my dad used to drink.
Yeah,
and so my grandma told I did exactly what all the elders had told me to do, and which is everything, but I have to believe in it. Yeah, I have to believe in the spirits of whatever plant or tree I take, or the medicine from the animals. So I was asking Stuart Pope because I was like, I didn't have enough energy to get out on my own yet.
Yeah.
And so he was nice enough to go out for me and get me something, and it was good. So I'm on my last batch of it. But oh my God, it is so strong, but it's so worth it.
What is it?
It's just a medicine from the land. I'm not going to tell you. Yes, good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but like I said, I drink 4 different ones and use other things and stuff. But like,
so there's not a. Is there? I guess clinically they would be able to tell that there is progress, but like there's not.
There's nothing.
They would never recognize, you know, traditional medicines as being like, oh yeah, that's working.
No. And like I said, no, they just, cause they asked, like, I'm like, no, whatever. I use Chago. That's all you're getting. That's all I tell them. But like, yeah, at the same time, I'm like, it is what it is. And you're
going to make like a miraculous recovery, and like scientific papers are going to be about Chaga cures cancer.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what I drink.
It's Chaga. That's all I tell them. It's Chaga. But yeah, that's all they're getting from me. If, like, you know, and like I said, for me, it's like, I feel like the health system has failed me big time.
I'm sorry.
Big time. And I put my trust in them and thought, like, you know, and waited too long, kept waiting, and I've had arguments with Dr. Smiley, and he knows that I don't like him.
Dr. Smiley.
Yeah. And
is he a joyful character, or is that just
no,
his name?
That's his name.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it is. And he knows it. And I'm not gonna lie, he knows that I don't. And
no, that's
I honestly, and for me, it's like my grandma always says, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing. And I'm
don't
like,
say nothing.
Yes, just you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing.
Wait, that seems like she's telling you to say something.
Oh, you don't want to, because You don't want to, you can't take back what you say.
Yes.
So you have to be very careful of how you use it.
I absolutely agree. That's one thing that I try and practice in my life.
Yes.
Is being very careful with the things I say and trying to only say things that are true. And, we're not perfect, but I aim for that.
And it's true, because sometimes it's like, I'm just going to walk this way while you stand there.
And don't follow me.
Yes. I just like, no. And sometimes it's, and for my daughter, she'll say it like it is. And sometimes I'm like, you can't. She's like, why can't I? I was like, that person treated me bad. So I'm going to say it. I'm like, okay. She's like, you taught me to say what I need to say. I'm like, damn, damn. Like, and sometimes she's like, no. I'm just like, okay. Like, and it's true. Like, I just say what you need to say, but make sure that you try to be careful of how you say it.
Yeah.
Is where, and she's like, I'm still learning.
Well, there's you can like give people feedback and try and say the same thing and say one like in a very harsh way and one in a well-crafted way and have completely different results.
Yes. And it's true, but I was like, okay. So like, but yeah, I do have my days where like, I can't do people or, and I'm going to say something. And that's for me. It's like, I love everybody. I love my people. I love the people that have been supporting me. And I'm so grateful for it, because without that, I wouldn't be the way I am. And how, like, when that person told me, man, you make cancer look so easy. I'm like, really? No, I am who I am, and I'm going to be always, but when I have a bad day, that's the days I lock myself in my house.
Yeah.
And I just, and Rihanna knows it. She'll be like, I'm like, I don't feel, she's like, okay, nope. Then she'll cook and, she'll help. She's grown up like so much to be able to like help and stuff like that. But I need to know that she's going to be okay. Like, if anything, and I don't know how many times, like, I feel like I'm on a time bomb limit. Like, but for me, I am grateful where I am. It sucks that I have cancer. But like I said, I've never been the happiest I've ever been, because I'm more comfortable in my own skin without the alcohol, the cigarettes, you know what I mean? Yeah. And to actually just be me, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm not in survival mode anymore.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it.
Well, I was like, when you walked in, I was like, she looks great.
And I feel great.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do have my days and stuff like that. But like, and for Rihanna seeing that, and she's always like, I'm so proud of you, Mom. I'm just like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. Like, we got this girl, like, but the days when and I always tell her, like, she's like, well, it sucks you have cancer. I said, you know what? It may suck that I have cancer, but I could have been gone in a truck accident. I could have been gone and left you with, and now I have the opportunity to make sure that you are set up.
Yeah.
Without me.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm the most grateful for.
Yeah.
Like, so
what a
grateful.
Blessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I'm like, nope. And it does suck it sometimes, but it's like, no, I'm grateful that I can still be able to help her channel where she needs to be.
Well, as a rather distant observer, I'd heard about your journey through Leanna and whatnot, and your courage and your striving has inspired me. It's very impressive, and it's beautiful to watch. And I feel really lucky to have had this chance to sit down with you and get to know you more. And just over the last couple of weeks of interacting with you, I remember, I think everyone knows, but Sylvia was our cause for Brisket Fest this year. And
oh my God.
I called you.
When Josh called me, I was like, I don't want to. But I am so grateful. For me, center of attention is hard.
Yeah.
Very hard. And so I called my friend Maury, and I'm like, Maury, can we go for a ride? She was like, yeah, no problem. And I love her because she just like.
This is after the call?
Yeah. Like, I called her yesterday, and I'm like, I need you. Like, and she always, they're like, everybody's that they just come and help, or like I go and sit or whatever. And now that I've been so busy, like, gone for the summer, coming home, slowly getting back into work, starting new treatment because I did my scan. It was very heavy. So I haven't really been out to see a lot of people yet. Yeah. So now that I'm back into the routine, I can be able to join that. So I was like, Maury, can you? And she's like, yep, came pick me up. And so I talked to her about the scan, and I never really talked to anybody about it except my family and stuff. And then just that. And then I'm like, and then I was like, I'm going to do a podcast. I'm so nervous. I was like, what? She's like, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. And I'm like, but I want to say thank you to everybody that really put an arm and a leg and to help with this brisket fest, the cooks and you setting it up, and everybody that came out to support me was amazing, because I was struggling to think like, oh my God, winter's coming. What am I doing? I'm finally just getting back on my feet. I haven't been working for a year. So this basically set me up for the winter to be able to do fuel. I can pay for my fuel and put a big chunk. I'm good now. I don't have to worry about because I'm just getting back on my paychecks.
Yeah.
So now I'm back on that. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm not saying like but bills were
set for life.
Thinking that I'm getting back on my feet. So totally. I really appreciate it. I am so grateful. And I just was like all emotional yesterday. And Rihanna was like, what? And I was like, I got a brown paper bag of money. And yeah, so I just, put it all towards all my bills now that I'm like, I can pick myself back up and start fresh again.
When I think I called you after we started cooking the briskets, and I wanted to just call you and tell you how the cook went and all that kind of stuff. And you answered the phone and you were like so sick. And I was like, oh shit, she's not going to make it like to Brisket Fest.
Yes.
And I wish you could have, because, and I'm sure you do too, but you rallied more people than we've had come and eat before.
And that's what really hurt me, because I was like, Mom. And she was like, I was like, can you just please go?
Did you get some food?
Oh, I made my mom go. And her and Rihanna. So it was nice. I was like, can you please? I was like, I need that brisket. And she was like, okay. Because she doesn't like big crowds as well. So then her and Rihanna went, and it was really good. And my mom's like, I'm so glad I went. Sylvia, she's like, people love you. Like, I just see. And Rihanna's like, Mom, you should have seen. I was like, I wanted to go. And I was like so heartbroken.
And so what'd you think? Was the food good?
It was so good. And I was like, why did you get more fries? And then I asked her, I was like, did you get different kinds of meat? Like, you should have got 2. And she was like, I didn't even know what I was doing. Just be happy. I was like, okay, thanks. Like, but it was good. It was really good. But I was so sad, because I love to go to those things.
Yeah.
I love to be a part of the community when it happens. And I was like, oh my God, why did I have to get sick? But it is.
Yeah, the briskets, this was our third year doing it.
Yes.
And it was our biggest year yet. And that was wonderful. And we had 12 cooks, and it was awesome because, we just put the call out and just people sign up, and then we tell them what it's for. And then once I told it what it's for, even more cooks signed up.
Oh, I was like, thank you, everybody. Like, seriously, like, I don't know how to give back.
You don't have to.
Just a good thank you and a big lots of love. And when the time is right, little things will come here and there.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just so grateful, because like I said, it's been a really tough year. Like, even though like I act like, oh yay, I'm great, but deep down inside, it's like I'm hurt.
Yeah.
That, and it makes me sad, but at the same time, it makes me like, oh, okay, like, no, like me and Rihanna, let's, do this, or like go out and see the girls, or like go out and be, go to Annie's and have coffee, or like when they do their singing bowls and stuff like that, hey, I'm like, yes, like, and like I said, now that I'm back on my feet and trying to like, and it is what it is, and I'm just going to enjoy every day as I could.
That's awesome. That's incredible to hear. If there is anything that me and my family can do to support you, please let us know. We'd be more than happily cook you meals.
Just love me.
Well,
that's all I tell people. I was like, love me.
But the point being is, if you need something, reach out.
I definitely will. I honestly will. Like I said, stubborn as I am, I will, yeah, but I will.
Well, it's a growth opportunity.
I know, right? And so it's like, why don't you? I'm like, no, I don't need to. I could do it. And I'm like, but at times where I do, like I said, there's times where I just can't do things because I don't have enough strength to do them. And I definitely will. But at times I'm like, no, I need to do this because I'm challenging myself. That's how I look at it. Like, no, I'm challenging myself. I'm going to walk to the store and I'm like, I could do it. Like I even jigged when I was in Toledo for the big hand games. And I think I could. I thought I was going to pass out. I was like telling my body, I was like, don't you dare pass out. Just let's do this. And it was amazing. I was so proud of myself. And then to see all the elders and I had like Delaney people were there. And I'm like, I'm so grateful for Delaney and, and Toledo and the prayers that everybody's been doing for me and what they believe in. And not everybody believes in prayers. They might believe in the spirit world and stuff like that. But to be able to still have that energy come and help. And like with Rihanna's stepmom and her grandparents, like Cora's parents and stuff like that, they've been a big help as well with Rihanna and I. And they're still part of our family too, which is really cool. And having that as well, I know that Rihanna's good and set up, but I still want to enjoy what I could with her.
You should every moment. Is there anything that you want to put out there just as like a closing?
I just want to say thank you to the Norman Wells for doing the Brisket Fest and to be able to come together and throughout this whole journey to say thank you. And to Lisa and Delaney, like Sira Masi, like from my heart, without all that support and having those and the people in Fort Smith, like my crew out there and family that I built out there while I was going to school as well. And shout out to the girls in Yellowknick that have been amazing. And everybody's still there to help me. And I still love and give back is when I could. But I just thank you to everybody. Like, honestly, you have no clue. Like, it's been a tough one, but fuck, I did it.
Well, it has. I'm honored to have gotten the time to sit down with you, and thank you for coming on the show. And I expect that this will be one of our most viewed episodes. Even though you hate to be the center of attention, you seem to draw a crowd.
I just want to know that I want them to know that I do appreciate it. I'm not just, I appreciate everything. Sometimes I may not show it just because I might be having a bad day or just I got bad news or something, but I appreciate everything and everybody.
Well, I feel like you have a tendency or a habit of kind of being like, okay, this is my burden to carry and whatnot, but like I'm sure you've learned that people are willing to shoulder it with you. So
yes. And like I said, they may not see them, but they are there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Sir Messi.